Hickory Dickory Dock. Our kids can't stay off TikTok. My, oh my. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pinellas County Schools digital learning podcast show, Tales from the Tech Side. I am your show's host, James Wilson. Today we'll be talking about the impact of social media on education. And so with that, I brought along two colleagues from Pinellas County Schools. In a minute, they'll introduce themselves, and we'll talk about some of the things that's going on in education surrounding social media. So, who'd like to start?
I'll start. My name is Brooke Smith, and I work in the prevention department for Pinellas County Schools.
Brooke, what's your official title?
Prevention specialist. I oversee some drug and alcohol initiatives for the district.
Okay, and your background is a social worker,
Social
correct?
work, yep. Mm-hmm.
And other than that, can you share just a little bit more about your background in education? What all have you done?
Yeah, so I've really always just worked in education. I started as a paraprofessional for an elementary school, and I taught middle and high school for a few years, and really my background is in social work. So I transitioned back to a school social worker, and then I found my way here to the prevention office.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Amanda Dallas, and this is my 27th year here in Pinellas County Schools. I've worked predominantly as a high school counselor. I've worked about 20 years with Clearwater Adult Education Center. I've also worked at St. Pete College, teaching the college experience. And my background in education spans from preschool to prison. I have worked all of those levels in the 27 years.
Okay, thank you. So, as with our listeners, I want to thank you guys for joining me today in this conversation. I hope everyone will enjoy it. And so I shared with you guys a while back an article where with all the things going on in education, there's quite a few school districts around the nation have decided to take on tech companies and are actually suing companies like YouTube, Meta, TikTok, because they're saying that their product is very addictive and it is impacting how our students perform as far as education. And so what do you guys think about social media's impact on education?
I think social media definitely has a major impact on education, and unfortunately, it's not always in a positive way. I don't know if we can put all the blame on the social media companies, because I feel like, as a parent, as an educator, we have to educate the students, the teachers, and give them the power to make choices. Because, even at home, without, a parent's rules and consequences and structure and monitoring, they're going to want to pursue and visit all these different social media sites where we have to instill in them the right things to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of different lenses depending on what role, who you are, how you could look at that question. I think the schools probably wish more was being done at home. Parents probably wish the school was doing more, and both probably blame social media companies to an extent. But I know social media companies do have rules and regulations and things like that. We just don't always pay attention to them. But I think we can all do better. We can equally blame everybody.
Okay, so those are unique takes. Personally, I feel, especially knowing how education has rapidly grabbed onto technology since the pandemic, where a lot of students, young and old, use social media to not only socialize, but to learn from one another. And so it has become, in my eyes, something that allows communication across the board and in a very broad sense. There's not very much that you can't find out how to do on social media. So with all the other things, and you guys work in social services, homelessness, the whole immigration and a lot of transit students, right? I feel like we could probably put more resources towards helping out with that. I mean, I think the staggering amount of children that are living in poverty and experiencing hunger, lack of food, and just mental health issues and crisis, we have chosen to grandstand and pick out social media. Not to say that social media is great. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when it comes to districts suing tech companies, that I think time and energy could be better placed other places to really improve with what's going on in schools. And so with that, here in Pinellas County, currently we are not part of a lawsuit, so kudos to us. But what have you guys witnessed as far as technology and social media's impact on students and student behavior or student academic achievement?
So one of the important jobs that Brooke and I have is monitoring the SARS, or the Say Something Anonymous Reporting System. So we do see that there are a lot of cases that involve cyberbullying, even sextortion, where there has to post pictures and, return their pictures won't be shared with other people. So we spend a lot of time monitoring those tips and making sure that the schools are dealing with them, hopefully in a timely manner within 24 hours for most, And we also spend a lot of time teaching the youth mental health first aid so that our educators, our bus drivers, our cafeteria workers can all have some more insight on how to pick up on these issues that young people are dealing with. And a lot of it deals with what's going on at home and on the computer and on social media.
Yeah, just to follow up with what Amanda said, we look at the SARS tips that come in almost daily, and I don't think there's a day goes by where it's not something regarding something that happened online and in the cyber world. Anything from, an inappropriate relationship or pictures, bullying. Most of it is happening online. What kids think is like behind the scenes in this like safe area. It's not the face-to-face stuff that we're used to or in the past. And also Amanda and I and our coworker Lily, we just started a cyber safety training, maybe beginning of the year, end of last year. And just some of these stories that are people who work, staff members who work for Pinellas County Schools, they have shared a lot of their personal experiences with their kid, with a friend's kid, somebody they know, and it all started online, whether it was bullying or whether it was like a sextortion incident. It started online. So that's what we're seeing is a lot of things are just, that's where they're happening, is online.
Okay, so you mentioned you guys do a cyber safety training. Mm-hmm. Who do you target, or who are the people that you are trying to bring in to get that training?
Well, it's available to any Pinellas County employee. So it's, logging into PLN, but we're targeting, teachers, like I said, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, anyone that has contact with our young adults on a daily basis.
And also we know a lot of our staff members are parents too. And a lot of parents, a lot of staff members just aren't sure how to address the topic of technology. They're not sure what's too much regulation for a kid, not enough regulation for a kid. It's still this whole new world to them because they didn't grow up with it, right? So we're just targeting really whoever wants to listen, and we just talk about a wide variety of things spanning from issues that we see to solutions and things that maybe they didn't know were even available, resources that they didn't know were available.
And the sister training to that is our human trafficking training, and it's just to educate people on the grooming process. You know, how all of that happens and how the young people somehow feel like they are obligated to do whatever it is that the predator wants.
And that's one topic, too, that it used to happen, but just in the real world, but now it's happening almost 100% online. So, again, out of the eyesight of adults and people who can step in.
So I am a parent, but I'm also an employee. But if I was a parent and not an employee, how could I get some of this training, this cybersecurity stuff that you're providing for the staff? Because as a parent, I would want to get some of that great information, tips, tricks. Are we as a district, Pinellas County Schools, sharing anything that's available for parents?
We have done a couple in-person trainings for school PTAs so far, mostly elementary school. So we're hoping to kind of step that up next year and see where the needs are and see what schools would maybe have us out and talk about that topic. Because I know a lot of counselors have reached out to us and said, hey, we're having a lot of issues, whether it's, SARS with bullying or whatever it is. So we are always, next year, we're looking to get out into the schools more. And, we have a few resources that we've made and can send to counselors and schools.
So would that be as a parent, would that be the primary vehicle of first steps, is to reach out to their student's school counselor to talk about cybersecurity? How does that work? How would I, as a non-employee parent, begin to tap into these resources?
I think as a parent, I would probably go straight to the principal or the administrator, because they are the people who can make these things happen, through the PTA or open house or whatever kind of meetings you're having at night.
Okay. And so we've addressed parents, we've addressed staff. What about the actual students? So how do we support our scholars, or what are we doing to support our scholars to make sure that they are aware of the cybersecurity issues? They're aware of the possibility of predators wanting to human traffic them. What may appear as a friendly online conversation that goes someplace else. What are we doing as a district to provide our students with that education?
Well, I'll speak to, and this was before Brooke joined our department. We would actually go out to schools, and I've had auditoriums, cafeteria, like they would bring all the kids in, and we were required to do middle school, charter school, and high school, and we would do the Say Something anonymous reporting. And yes, it would cover a lot of topics, a lot of really good videos. Some of them, I know the one I remember was the young lady in Pasco County who happened to share a photo of herself, and unfortunately the photo surfaced through the entire school in the district, and she ended up on the top of a tower and actually took her life. So we have a lot of real life situations, but since the pandemic, we have not been back into the schools working with the students. But I know that they do have mental health lessons, correct, Brooke?
Yeah, that's what I was going to speak on, is the mental health lessons. It's mandatory that every middle and high school student has a 1-hour mental health lesson on human trafficking each year. So that's mandated from the state of Florida. And so we're probably looking to integrate cyber safety into that, or have it be its own 1-hour mental health lesson. And so the students that is something that's done in the classroom. So the students are there and watching, and they are able to talk, have a discussion with that classroom teacher about what they're watching, and they have questions and prompts that they're asked, and they're offered an exit slip. So if they do need to go talk to a counselor, if they are worried about themselves or a friend or whatever, they have that resource. They have that if they need to go speak to someone.
Okay. So sounds like we, or Pinellas County Schools, your department, is really putting into place some pieces that will help educate all stakeholders when it comes to minimizing the risk impact of social media as far as the negative, right? So have you guys witnessed or are you aware of any positive uses of social media inside the classroom? If so, can you share?
I mean, I know there are a lot of positive uses of social media, and especially with the different magnet programs in school we have, how they take these websites and create sometimes little shows that they can advertise to other students or even for the staff. But, I've been out of the schools for 4 years, so I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but I do know we have a lot of students that work with like TV production and different things, and they utilize the social media websites to do a lot of positive things.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of positive going on, and unfortunately, we don't hear a lot about the positive. But I know, from an elementary and middle standpoint, there's like games and things like that that are very interactive, very engaging. I know, as I said, I work with in drug and alcohol prevention, and one thing I do is I work with clubs at the middle and high school level. Every school has to have an anti-drug, like pro-healthy choices club, and they make videos, and they use social media, and they use announcements to highlight Red Ribbon Week and things that really bring the school together and improve the climate of the school overall. So I do think there is a lot of that going on, because I see it, on a small scale. I do think there's a lot of that going on. So it is used for a lot of good, but I think, we hear a lot about the bad.
Yeah, because I can say as a district, we use social media, right, to get information out to parents and guardians and stakeholders in the community, members. I think just about every school in our district has a Facebook page and, Twitter account. And we're not the only district doing this. And so when we look at the big push from, and I'm going to say our lawmakers, right, who are not, most of them are not on the front line of education, meaning they're not in classrooms and they're not in administration and they're not down here. They're legislating from some, up far and not really thinking totally about how the things they're doing can really hinder great educational opportunities, because there are great opportunities to utilize social media inside education. Is more than just an information place or a place where kids go get bored. As I mentioned earlier, there's videos and tutorials and podcasts on just about anything that you want to learn available through social media at some point in time, right? And so as we get ready to conclude, I wanted to ask you, as social workers and counselors, do you have additional concerns about the increased use of technology in the classroom, whether it's social media or not?
I guess mine would just be the lack of socialization. I mean, I think we're already seeing it. I know when Amanda and I grew up, we'd go outside and play and, really have to use our imagination and things like that. And kids these days, it's just they go home and they pick up a tablet and they're not playing with friends. They're not maybe at grade level socialization levels. So I think that's a big one, is just being able to socialize with friends. It's that socialization factor.
And then I think another point is that they have so much access to computers and iPads at school. And we think that they're firewalls and everything that keep them from going on other sites. But I think we have to beef up that security so that they're not able to get on some of these tempting sites that they should not be visiting at home or at school.
That is so funny because as a member of the digital learning team, we talk about it all the time. Is students put in a lot of effort to get around our firewalls and our security and our safety and nets that we put up. And it was like if they put half of that effort into something positive and not saying that that student may one day turn out to be somebody that works in IT, but if they apply half of that energy towards other endeavors, then imagine what they could do when they spend so much time being creative to beat all of the things that we put in place. It is amazing what our students can do when it comes to when they really want to do something, they find a way to do it.
And I think following up with that, a lot of parents don't realize how easy it is to get around basic security features. Like in our training, we talk about parental controls and things like that. And a lot of people don't even know that exists, and they don't know what resources are available to help keep their kids safe. And
And I did write a few of them down because I probably wouldn't remember, but we talk about the Net Nanny in our cyber safety training, secure team, team safe, and child safety matters. So there are a lot of things that parents can do, but it's work. It's a lot of work to monitor your child and all the different apps and applications and things that they have on their computers and their phones.
And ultimately, we kind of conclude the training with saying, all those are great. We can give you all these resources, but the biggest thing is just having a good relationship with your kid when it comes to technology, modeling that behavior and having a good relationship with them.
I think that was a very key thing that during this whole conversation, or the entire conversation around social media and its impact, whether it's inside or outside of education, and whether we should be banning this platform or that platform, is that at the end of the day, right, it's about the relationship between parents and students. It's about modeling good cybersecurity behavior. It's about being present, being in the moment, and doing those things. It's very hard to tell a kid to not be on social media when the parent has an account on every social media platform, right? And so modeling, having those relationships, having those discussions, right? It takes a village to raise a child, but that starts at home, right? With parenting and good parenting. And so I want to thank you both for being here. Great conversation. For our listeners, I hope you found this episode to be a very positive one that you can really have learned something from. As always, remember to like, subscribe, and share. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.